this video, we're going to explore the part of our personality that uses aggressive and sometimes violent behaviour to get our way with the people that we feel threatened by. When we're blended with a part that's using this particular mode of behaviour, our words and actions are used in a deliberate attempt to hurt the person that's the object of our current level of fury. This part has a tendency of leaving us filled with guilt and shame once its presence has left our personality system. So today, let's have a conversation about the mode of behaviour that we call the bully attack. When the bully attack mode is activated within our personality system, we become aggressive and confrontational in all of our behavioural responses. Primarily, this will result in us trying to cause some sort of pain to the person our system has perceived as a threat. The pain that we're attempting to inflict on other people can be caused either verbally, emotionally, or if this part is inclined to respond this way, with a physically aggressive action too. This behaviour is usually intended to fight against the story that's being generated by our own internal critics in reaction to the dominant schema that's in our system. For example, if I'm afraid of being abandoned or rejected by a loved one, so my schema of abandonment is dominant in my system, I'd react in an angry, aggressive way, calling the loved one names, belittling their experience, and lashing out in a hurtful and demeaning way. These actions are often a completely subconscious and habitual way of dealing with things, and they're an automatic response to fear, a part of our fight or flight system. If this is the case, this programmed response is not really part of any deliberate, conscious behaviour pattern, and it usually leaves us filled with guilt and shame once we've diffused from the part that's conducted itself in this hurtful way. Working with the bully attack mode is a difficult thing to do. It begins with building awareness for the underlying emotion that the part is trying to protect. All of our angry parts are coping mechanisms for the vulnerability that's perceived to be under threat, which is why we say that anger can be an addictive coping mechanism. Keep in mind, there's nothing wrong with anger. It's an important and necessary emotional experience for us to have. At the same time, there's a distinct possibility of it becoming a maladaptive and ineffective dominant coping mechanism if we learn it at an early age. Toxic shame was one of the most dominant emotions connected to the vulnerable child at the core of my own personality. My system was set up to avoid it at all costs. The irony of my old coping skills was that they often induced the very thing that they were trying to avoid. This was definitely the case for my bully attack mode. While it definitely wasn't the first line of defense for me, it was usually the last resort, it would follow on from an angry child and an angry protector, and it would always leave me sitting in a space of guilt and shame that was associated with its hurtful actions. Hey man, so listen, I really want to talk to you about your drinking. People around you are starting to notice that there seems to be a bit of a problem, and honestly, we're starting to feel like it's time to just bring it up with you. What do you mean? People are talking? I don't have a problem with drinking. You guys have got it completely wrong. Yeah, honestly, I hear you, but buddy, it's really starting to affect you, like all over your life, man. Like, honestly.
No. I'm going to do what I want to do when I want to do it, and you can't tell me what to do. You can't tell me what to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. No.
No, you guys have got it all wrong. You're not listening to me. I don't have a problem. I've got it under control. You're not understanding where I'm coming from. Stop trying to tell me what to do. No, seriously, we're not telling you what to do, man. We're just trying to help you. He's not trying to help you. He's trying to control you. You need to tell him to leave you alone. Tell him now. You know what, man? You need to leave me alone and mind your own business. Get the away from me and leave me alone. Listen, I'm not being your friend if I don't bring this up, man. I want to help you. We all want to help you. This guy just doesn't get it. You need to hurt him the same way that he's hurting you. Tell him what you think of him. Tell him right now. You know what? I'm not the loser here. You are. Ugh, who are you to tell me what to do? Your life's a shit show. You lost your job because you're not good enough. Who knows what's going on at home? Your wife's probably sleeping with other people. You need to back off and figure your own shit out. You're the loser here, not me. I'm out of here. You guys just don't get it. Leave me alone. You're all shit, and I want nothing to do with any of you. Words can be an extremely powerful weapon, particularly when they're used in a way that's designed to inflict emotional pain and suffering. And when my bully attack mode was in full swing, my words were definitely intended to do just that. Hey, any chance you can get that thing done that we talked about in the group meeting last week? I just need to get that finished before I can move forward with the other things. This guy just keeps pushing and pushing you. He's trying to hurt you. He wants to make you suffer. So you need to make him suffer first. Right now, do it. You know what? Why don't you stop pushing me to do the stuff that you should get done? Get your own house in order. You screw up all the time and nothing ever gets said. In fact, I heard someone say the other day that you're a complete screw up. You're a horrible boss and none of your staff want to work for you. So why don't you figure your own shit out before you get on my case? When I was blended with a part that was using the bully attack mode, I'd often bring things up from the past to humiliate the person that was the target of my anger. And as always, this would leave me filled with guilt and shame, which most of the time was actually completely justified. So wait, you're telling me that I need to do more with the kids? That I need to be hanging out with them a little bit more? That I'm not doing enough? She's trying to make you feel guilty. She's trying to make you feel ashamed. That's not fair. You need to hurt her. You need to hurt her the way that she's hurting you. Point it out. Let her know. Tell her all the stuff that she did wrong in the past. You know what? That's not fair. You seem to have a really short memory. I did a lot of stuff with the kids all the time when you were busy at work building your career. What was the impact of that, eh? How do you think the kids felt about that? You're the one that did that, not me. So don't start on me, okay? You need to look at what you've done in the past rather than looking at what I'm doing now. And there was a part of me that was using the bully attack mode of behaviour to cope with my uncomfortable and unwanted emotional experiences. My system was usually beyond the point of no return, and I was defending myself from the threat that I was facing with the vigour and aggression of a man possessed. Anger and rage would overwhelm the healthy parts of my personality in an attempt to defend my vulnerabilities. Once my rage had eventually subsided and the words I'd used had destroyed the environment in the exact same way as a tornado devastates every single inch of the landscape it touches, guilt and shame would consume my system. The very thing I was usually trying to avoid was now the dominant emotional state, and my internal critic was fully engaged, constantly pointing out the values and beliefs that I'd neglected to follow.
Why are you doing that? You shouldn't be in that place. What the hell is wrong with you? You should be doing things completely differently. You should have done it this way. You always screw these things up. You never ever achieve anything. You're always going to fail. What's wrong with you? How dare you even try, you absolute loser.
Even though this part was attempted to keep my vulnerable child safe, its actions had activated the emotional experience it was trying to avoid. This would lead me back into those old, really unhealthy and ineffective coping mechanisms because, after all, what else could I do? It was the only way I knew to remove these unwanted feelings right now. The bully attack mode is another one of our defense mechanisms that can be a hard one to accept. Working from a space of no bad parts is an essential place to start, as unconditional self-acceptance is the goal that we're trying to achieve. This starts with appreciation and gratitude for the mode of behavior that we're trying to accept. As with all of our parts, we're trying to accept why it does what it does, not the physical actions that it takes. We have to build an understanding for the purpose of our bully's actions and why it's acting out. When I actually spent the time considering the action to this very difficult question, it was easier to find than I originally thought it would be. Fear was the primary reason my bully was defending my vulnerable child, and facing this fear was exactly where the work began for me. Living the life I want to live means turning towards the things I've been avoiding for most of my life, soothing the parts of my personality that are afraid of rejection and shame. Mindful awareness is where it all starts. Working with this part away from its rigid responses means using the past experience to activate its presence within our personality system when we're sitting in a safe place, so we can practice the skills of planning ahead to build mastery and using the language of the Raven exercise to to work with its emotional activation. In the PDF at the bottom of the website page that's connected to this video, you're going to find a worksheet to help you identify if this mode is one that you experience as a dominant way of coping with your uncomfortable and therefore unwanted emotional experiences. If you can, download it and read it through. Take your time to contemplate the questions before you just jump in and answer them. See how relevant they are to you, and if you think and feel that this is a mode that you use on a regular basis, use the skills of DBT when they're integrated with schema therapy to build awareness for its presence within your own personality system. As always, if you like the content of this video, please subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, and turn on the notifications to get all the latest from me and the Liberation Place. If you'd like to know more, come join the live online meetings that I facilitate for free each week on Zoom. You'll find a link to the page containing more information about these groups in the description below. I hope this video gave you some insight for how the bully attack mode might exist within your own personality system, along with all the different things that we can do if we want to be accountable for its actions and actually work with it. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Take care, be safe, and be well.